October the 28th, 2011, sees many distinguished guests, including leading political figures from the Special Administrative Region and the mainland, gather at Macau's Kiang Hospital. They are there for a party, a birthday party, to celebrate the 110th anniversary of the birth of Dr. Kiang Lin.
柯倫醫生新中國成立後，佢更加從各方面指導和支持。柯倫醫生係我國著名嘅醫學教育家，上世紀30年代於鏡湖醫院擔任義務醫生。佢喺澳門期間廣泛團結澳門愛國華人領袖、各界人士，開展咗各項嘅社會活動，係為澳門社會進步做出咗卓越嘅貢獻。
Dr. Kiang Lin died some 20 years before this celebration of his life and work, so it is his pictures that preside in the place of honour. Every street and alleyway in Shanghai can tell its own story. The story of Shanghai's North Sichuan Road involves Dr. Kiang Lin. In August 1929, the 28-year-old Kiang Lin was working here at the Wuzhou pharmacy, but he was troubled by disquieting news. 5 leading Communist Party members had just been arrested at a meeting in Shanghai. Peng Pai and Yang Yin were among them.
这个会议呢，参加的人就是中央军委和江苏省委的军委的主要负责人，包括周恩来都要参加这会议。周恩来因为是迟到，所以才没被。
It was August the 24th, 1929. Kiang Lin couldn't believe that Peng Pai, his mentor and his closest friend, with whom he had dined just the night before, had been arrested. They would never see each other again. Peng Pai was one of China's earliest communist activists. He worked to build a rural revolutionary base in his home county in Guangdong, long before Mao Zedong led the whole nation in the same direction. It was also Kiang Lin's home county. They both went to the same middle school in Haifeng County. Peng Pai, as the elder, had always been Kiang Lin's inspiration. Peng Pai was equally impressed by his young followers' talent and energy.
Peng Pai 呢，那就是高年级学生，Peng Pai 呢，在家里边跟我们家距离的并不远，隔一条河，叫做龙七河，海丰那个就知道的了。
In the autumn of 1921, the 20-year-old Kiang Lin graduated from his middle school. He was a young man who knew what he wanted in life. And 1921 was a year that would mark Chinese history. On the 1st of July of that year, the Communist Party of China was founded. Chen Duxiu was elected the first party secretary. However, Chen Duxiu himself was too busy to attend the first CPC National Congress. At the time, he was Guangdong's Educational Bureau Chief, and he was busy trying to persuade schools to provide a number of free places for the best qualified students. The Guangdong Public Medical School was one of those that agreed and began to accept 5 students each year with free tuition. Lin, who topped the grade rankings in his home county of Haiphong, was one of those who secured a free place at the medical school. It was there that he once again encountered his former schoolmate and hero, Peng Pai.
有过了一段时间，贺林呢就接到一个通知，叫他到一条街的一个房子里面。去的那里呢，就见到了当年的那个社会主义青年团的负责人。那个负责人说：“彭白同意介绍你参加社会主义青年团。”
Guangzhou was where China's democratic revolution had begun. In January 1924, Sun Yat-sen organized the first National Congress of Kuomintang in Guangzhou. The Congress decided to reorganize Kuomintang into a revolutionary alliance of Soviets, communists, farmers and factory workers. It marked a new era of collaboration between the CPC and KMT. The young Lin was one of the most avid supporters of China's democratic revolution. Lin later became one of the revolutionary student leaders in his medical school. In his work supporting the National Revolutionary Army in its fight against the warlords of the Beiyang Army, Lin got to know Chen Geng, who would later become his direct superior in the Communist Party of China. In his student days, Kiang also invited Zhou Enlai to his school. Kiang would remember Zhou's speech for the rest of his life. Zhou declared that the victory of the Communist Revolution could only be achieved when the youth form an alliance with peasants, soldiers and factory workers. In January 1926, the 25-year-old Lin became a member of Communist Party of China. But his worst nightmares started to come true when he read an article in the Republican Daily News in September 1929. Peng Pai and 3 other Communist Party members were executed in secrecy only 6 days after being arrested. Peng was just 33 years old. Despite the fact that the communists were prepared to face arrests and suffering for their beliefs, the loss of such a close friend and mentor was devastating for Kiang. But as a special agent of the CPC, Kiang needed to stay calm and await his orders. It was soon divined that there was a traitor involved in the arrests. This is the only way that the meeting could have become known to their enemies. Then a sentence in a report in the Republican Daily News caught Zhou Enlai's attention. It said that communist Bai Xin, who had also been arrested, had made an honest confession and was released immediately by the court.
那周总理在主持的吧，当然他就要查了。结果一查呢，唯独一个人呢没有给抓走，那就是白金。而且这个人后来呢，因为他要查这件事，结果要找呢，这白金找不到了，就不见了。
Subsequent investigation confirmed that Bai Xin was the traitor. Zhou Enlai ordered CPC special agents to neutralize Bai as soon as possible, for he betrayed more of his former colleagues to the KMT. Lin was entrusted with the mission to find Bai. Bai was a patient of Kiang Lin. In 1927, after Kiang had qualified as a doctor and was working at the hospital affiliated to the Zhongshan School of Medicine, he came to the attention of the CPC leadership. He was assigned to work as a doctor for the National Revolutionary Army's 4th Army and soon found himself promoted to Vice President of the Army Hospital.
国民革命军呢，第4军是这个北伐战争中的一个主力部队，特别是其中25师也是。当时叶挺将军的独立团就是在4军。4军从广东北伐到武昌，然后被誉为，由于他战功卓著，誉为铁军。
Their time as comrades in arms left deep friendships among Kiang Lin and his fellow communists Ye Jianying, Zhang Yunyi, Ye Ting, and Li Shuoshun. It was then that Kiang also met Bai Xin for the first time. Kiang went out of his way to help Bai.
我父亲当时在那里出现的面目是一个医生，就说不太牵扯到政事这一方面的，而且他也不是中央里边一些什么主要的人物，所以就没有那么引起白钦的注意。
In April 1927, Chiang Kai-shek launched a campaign of violent suppression against the Communist Party. The KMT and the CPC were now in deadly conflict. After the failed CPC-led uprising in Guangzhou, the Communists were no longer safe. So Kiang Lin and Ye Jianying moved to Shanghai in the summer of 1928. Shanghai was then the base of the CPC Central Committee. In these darkest days of CPC history, Kiang Lin decided to dedicate his life to its project. In Shanghai, Kiang Lin opened a small clinic with another fellow communist named He Chong. He Chong was later to become one of the leaders of China's Ministry of Health. The clinic's quarantine room was used as a meeting room for the CPC party members, frequented by some of CP's leading figures like Zhou Enlai, Deng Xiaoping, Li Fuchun, Luo Dongxiang, and Li Lisan. Most of Kiang Lin's patients were also CPC members, including Xu Xiangqian, Guan Xiangying, and Yang Shangkun. The traitor Bai Xin was another regular patient.
但是柯林的中共党员身份一直没暴露，所以白欣就一直以为他只是个行医的好医生而已。所以，因为他比较善于，柯林比较善于不暴露自己的政治观点。
In those days, the communists frequently changed their meeting places to maintain security. The clinic closed after 5 months, and Dr. Kiang Lin was assigned to a new working post as a doctor in the Wuzhou pharmacy. There, he worked directly under the communist leader, Chen Deng. The Central Committee Special Operations Branch was founded in November 1927 to protect the CPC Central Committee. It was composed of 4 sections: Administrative Affairs, Intelligence, Operations, and Logistics. After Peng Pai's arrest, the branch had tried to organize a rescue, but the operation had to be aborted because Kuomintang changed the prisoner transport route at the very last minute. Zhou Enlai, then the head of the branch, mobilized all his special agents to locate the traitor Bai Xin. Then, one day, some nervous-looking customers dropped into the Wuzhou pharmacy. A man trying to hide his face with a hat appeared soon afterwards. This was the catch that Kier had been waiting for.
他就找柯林给他看病，这个一暴露，那没想到柯林本身不但是共产党员，还是特科的重要的一个眼线和据点。
Bai Xin had been suffering from malaria in the period after his arrest. Eventually, Bai had decided to turn to Dr. Kier Lin for treatment. Kier Lin examined Bai as normal and told him he needed to take quinine to control his symptoms. He asked Bai to wait while he went to fetch the medicine. Kier Lin then informed his CPC contact immediately. But when he went back to see Bai, he found the traitor had snuck away. Kier Lin reported the incident to his superior, Chen Geng. They both believed that as Kier's party membership was unknown to Bai, it must have been something else that had spooked Bai. 2 weeks passed before Bai Xin contacted Kier Lin again.
他那次发病了啊，恶性疟疾发作了，结果就在白宫饭店的那里啊，就把我父亲啊用车子用特务来接他去看病啊。当然，我父亲呢也就是受过组织上的交代，要了解知道白钦的行动在哪里，白钦住在哪里，躲在哪里，你才有办法处理他的，是吧？所以呢，也就跟着他去了。
The KMT agents took Kier Lin to a hotel in the French concession. There, he met Bai Xin as well as the KMT party member Fan Zhengbo, the man who had plotted Bai's betrayal of Peng Pai and the others.
看病以后呢，白钦呢就想收买他了，就拿出了300个大洋啊，给他塞到他的药箱里边去，叫他就反正彼此心中有数啊。
柯林就佯装，哎呀，收下也好啊，有报酬，多好，有报酬，收下来。那白钦以为，哎呀，他还是喜欢财，就没当做共产党员。
Kier reported back to Zhou Enlai and Chen Geng and handed over the silver dollars. Zhou Enlai still believed that the hotel was only a cover and asked his agents to wait. Zhou was right. Another 2 weeks passed before Kier Lin received another phone call from Bai Xin. This time, Bai Xin trusted Kier Lin with his real address.
原来白钦那时候就躲到范增波的家里。这范增波当时是国民党上海的一个特务头子的家嘛，他躲到那去，当然就不会抓他，也抓不到他了。
When Kier Lin left the house, he cast a seemingly careless glance at the address. The house was located on Huaihai Road, which was called Avenue Chauffeur back then. Kier Lin realized that his chance to avenge his murdered friend had finally arrived.
结果呢，他们呢就在那范增波的家对面呢租了一个房子，那房子就对着那条路，那个路。 就是范增波的家啊，就日夜守住那家，看着白钦的活动怎么样啊。
At 11 p.m. on November the 11th, 1929, Bai left the house with Fan Zhangbo and some bodyguards. He was intending to flee to Italy. His plans would not come to anything. A hail of bullets brought down Fan Zhangbo and his bodyguards. Then, as Bai sought to flee again, he was felled by a bullet in the head. The 7 CPC special agents involved quickly retired from the scene. None had been hurt or injured. The incident would be later recorded in CPC history as a textbook special operation.
惩处白心是一次重大的成功。那么科林在这方面起到了一个重要的情报工作，就是准确的，一个是时间地点，一个是情绪上把白心稳定住，这个起的作用非常重大，而且他没有暴露自己身份。
The shootout on Avenue Chauffeur rocked Shanghai. The KMT vowed to bloody revenge, but it was already too late.